We are about to do some builder gel on short nails. What's up, nail crew? It's Nicole, your fellow nail obsessed DIYer. Today I'm showing you how to get off the builder gel that you already have on your nails and make it as thin as possible so that you can do a quote unquote new set of a builder gel overlay. So I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't actually take off all of my builder gel when I do a new set. When I say I'm doing a totally new set of builder gel, I do not soak off the old builder gel. I have not soaked my nails in acetone in like 4 years now. I either use builder gel as my base or clear dip powder as my base, and I just file it down as low as I can when I want a full restart. So what you're seeing me do here is use my Pana Course safety bit to go and take off a majority of the builder gel. And I want to get as low as I can without getting to my natural nail because you never want to use a coarse bit on your nails. The only drill bit that I use on my natural nails is a sanding band, and it's like a 240 grit sanding band. So that would be like using a 240 grit hand file. So the lower you are in grittiness on a hand file, and the sanding bands, the grittier it is. So the higher you are, the less gritty it is. I feel like I'm saying gritty, like hit the gritty or whatever that thing is that middle schoolers are doing. I don't know. My my kids do that. Anyways, I use my Pana bit to get off as much of the builder gel as I can. And sometimes what happens, because I use peel base in between my builder gel and my dip mayonnaise, is sometimes a little bit of the dip gets stuck. So I like to get off any dip that I need to. And since I've been having a lot of health problems, if you've watched my videos, you know that I had a bad medicine reaction the other month. So I wanted to do a full refresh of my builder gel. Once I got all of the dip powder off and I filed down like as much of the builder gel as I could, I busted out my 240 grit sanding band. There are some people also call them zebra bands, and I filed down the rest of my builder gel. Now, there was still a really thin layer left, but I filed down as much as I possibly could. And the reason why I like to do this once in a while is I like to check the health of my natural nails. Now, I know that I'm using clear builder gel, so I can really see my natural nails when I'm doing the builder gel overlays, but I do like to do this refresh every couple months just to really check out my natural nails. And I could see like they looked great. They were in great shape, even with all the health stuff that has been going on. What'll happen is like the builder gel might lift off my nails, which did happen. Now it's actually staying on now as I'm, recovering and getting better from the bad medicine reaction I had. And it made me really happy to see like, okay, my nails are still looking really good. And I did file them down to a rounded like almond shape. I just felt like with how my anxiety's been after going through all this medical stuff, that I was just picking too much at the sides of my nails, so I decided to round them off for a couple manis. And you know what, I love almond nails, so I'm probably going to stick with them for a long time. The last step that I like to do with my e-file and my cuticle prep is I like to use my McCart cuticle bit to go around and make sure that there's nothing stuck to my nail plate. So you don't want to go like crazy trying to rip off all your cuticles. I just like to very gently go around with that cuticle bit and make sure there's none stuck on my nail plate. Then I can go and I clean my nails off with isopropyl alcohol before I even start with any of my other nail products. This is just making sure that there's no dust left or anything, so that when I go through and use the dehydrator like I'm doing right now, it is really dehydrating my nails and there's not any dust left behind from before. So I go one hand at a time to do all of these steps. I'll do my left hand first, and then I go through like fully curing, do all my builder gel, and then I jump to my right hand. So I do dehydrator on 5 nails, then I go in with the primer on those same 5 nails. And when you're doing your primer, you want to etch it in. So what that means is basically just like you're kind of scrubbing it onto your nails. You don't want to flood your cuticles or your sidewalls with the primer. That can actually cause lifting too, and you don't want to put so much primer on that like your nails are drenched. So you really just want to cover your nails with the primer as you're etching it in, and then you do 2 layers. So I do thumb to pinky primer and then thumb to pinky primer again. The next step is one that everybody doesn't have to do. Some people need gel base down on their nails to give their builder gel better adhesion. But for some of us, using gel base on our natural nails makes the builder gel lift. So you're never going to see me use gel base down first. I'm pretty much always skipping it. I have used it like once in a video, but outside of that, I go straight in with my builder gel over the primer. And you want your primer to be sticky. So I've seen a lot of people say recently, like in comments on Facebook groups I'm in, oh, I let my primer dry. You want your primer to be sticky. And if your primer that you're using is called a bond or something and it doesn't leave a sticky residue, that's not actually a primer. That's a dehydrator, most likely. The step that really helps me when I first do my builder gel is to apply a slip layer. So slip layer is an uncured layer of gel that's really thin, and you use that as the guide to slip the builder gel down your nail. So after you get that really thin layer down, you don't cure it, and then you go in with a bead of builder gel back towards the back of your cuticles, but not all the way back. You put that bead down, you kind of like float it back towards your cuticles and then pull it down your nail. And every time that you want your apex to start building naturally, you flip your nail over for about 10 seconds, let that apex build, and then you can go in with a thin nail art brush and really get the builder gel where you want it. Especially when your nails are really short, this really helps me because you're working with a lot less nail real estate, right? Like your nails are short. You don't have these long nails to, kind of move the builder gel all around. You've got that little bit of nail real estate you're trying to get the builder gel on. And I just start to work on my apex at this length. They're so short that I don't really worry about it. But I figure if I start working on my apex at this length even a little bit, then it will be easier to have a nice apex going as my nails get longer. This trick with using the thin nail art brush has really been a game changer for me. Between that and the slip layer, those have allowed my builder gel manis to go so much faster. When I first started doing builder gel, I did not do the slip layer. I had never even heard of it, and I wasn't using a thin nail art brush because I hadn't heard of that easier. So if you want to get your builder gel overlays going a little bit faster, cut down on some time, those are two things that I would highly recommend. I also like to use a more narrow builder gel brush. When my nails are short, I'm using this narrow one from OG Dip Powder, and it just helps me to get closer to my sidewalls and my cuticles so that there's not as much work left to do with the thin nail art brush. And this awesome little station that I'm using is from SJ3 Designs. It's called a builder gel station. What you see around my builder gel jar is actually a cupcake liner. I got some builder gel around the sides and I tried to wipe it off and with some alcohol, and I feel like it's still sticky. So I put I put the cupcake liner around it just so that I didn't transfer any builder gel anywhere and like accidentally touch uncured gel. Something else that I really want to make sure that I mention is that you do not leave your builder gel anywhere near a light. That's something else I've seen a bunch in Facebook groups lately about people's gels getting ruined. Do not leave your gels near sunlight. Do not do your gels outside. You even have to be careful around LED lights with your gels. There was this one LED light I was using to help me better see my nails, and I ended up ruining like 10 to 15 bottles of gel because I had no idea it was partially curing the gel inside of each of my bottles and the jars. So definitely be really careful about where you're placing your gels. They need to be stored in a cool, dark place. And when you're doing them, you have to be careful about what LED lights are around you. Something else that really helps me when I'm doing my builder gel is to flash cure each nail before moving to the next. So flash cure each nail about 5 to 10 seconds. This way, after all that hard work I just did to have the builder gel be in the exact place that I want, have my apex going, especially as my nails are longer, then doing that flash cure secures it in the right place until you do your full cure. And you definitely want to do a full cure of all of your nails. What works best is if I do my pinky through pointer and then I do my thumb separately. We tend to hold our thumbs at like a weird angle. So if you don't do your thumb separately, you could risk not fully curing that, and leaving uncured gel on your fingers or on your nails often leads to gel allergies, which we definitely don't want, right? We want to be able to use our gorgeous builder gels and whatever other gels we like to use. Another thing that you definitely want to be doing with your gel safety is taking some isopropyl alcohol on an angled cleanup tool and wiping off any that gets on your skin before you go and even flash cure. You never want to cure gel on your skin, so you can see me going along the sides of my nail and wiping off any excess before I even flash cure. That's going to help you keep it off your skin as well. Now we're getting to one of my favorite parts of doing the builder gel. Once you finish fully curing, you can spray your nails or wipe them with isopropyl alcohol, and I like to buff mine really smooth, do all my filing and shaping. If you just want to top coat your builder gel with gel top coat, you don't have to do this step. You can just go right in. Don't wipe off the tacky layer and just go in with your gel top coat and be done. But I like to wear dip powder over my mayonnaise a lot. I buff my builder gel really smooth so I can use peel base in between my dip powder and my builder gel. Part of why I really like buffing and shaping my builder gel is because I can work on my apex, so then my apex looks exactly how I want it in the right place. If you're still struggling with builder gel overlays and you need way more detailed help, make sure you check out the description where I will link my ultimate builder gel 101 guide. It has 48 pages of everything you need to know from prep to application to removal. And then you can check out my next video and we'll do more builder gel overlays. Thanks for joining me today.